from that we've been working on for quite some time now, and I wanted to go ahead and show you how to quilt the quilt. So let me go ahead and show you what we've done. And we have, this is my You Are Loved quilt that I have made, and it's right here, and you can see it. I have it all layered right now, and there's a batting right there and then a backing fabric. So it's all been layered and put together. The other sample that we have that is made is right next to me. Hello everybody, you guys. Tell me everybody that's on. So I see Ashley is on, and I can see lots of different people on. So let me know where, let me know your name and everything else and where you're from, and say hello. And I also wanted to, well anyways, what we are going to do today is actually a domestic machine quilt, a quilt with your domestic sewing machine. So that is what we're doing. Hi Dee, how's it going? Hi Denise. Yes, if this is not something that you know how to do yet, then this is something that you want to learn how to do, because there is so much time. Hi Liz, hi Sandy. Oh, what fabric did I decide to use for the backing? So we've got people from New Jersey. It's so fun, you guys. I love it. So I decided to use for my backing the Kiss fabric. It's the red Kiss fabric right here. And I just really love this little fabric. It's a brand new fabric by Riley Blake. And there's just, I don't know, it's just, I think it's really sweet. And it's just, it kind of goes with the theme. Okay, so we've got Texas, Cindy from Texas. We've got lots of people here. This is so fun. Okay, so let me go ahead and, oh yes, so if you share the videos, I've got some goodies for you to ship today. And what we're gonna do, let me go, well, I'll grab them in just a minute, but it's this little cute roll of fabric. And it's just, it's so, so, so adorable. So we'll be, if you share, then that makes you eligible to win a cute little roll of fabric. So that's what we'll be winning tonight during the broadcast and towards the end. And so that's what we're doing. So I hope that this works good tonight. I have loaded my sewing machine with red thread and a red bobbin on here. And I wanted to, and let me go ahead and turn this just a little bit. Oh, maybe I shouldn't. I'll maybe move my machine over. But what I'm doing is I'm using red thread and red bobbin. And I'm using the same top and bobbin thread. Idealistically, that's kind of what, it's the easiest thing to do for those machines that you just don't want to have to worry about you know, doing the tension or anything like that, okay? Oh, my husband told me I should wear something other than gray. He says for the last couple ones, I've been wearing gray every single time. Now, I'm gonna show you, the one thing that I do like to use is a walking foot. But I did not have a walking foot for the first many years that I was actually quilting. And so if this is not something that you can afford to buy, they're really not that expensive. It just depends on what sewing machine that you have. This is the basic Singer one, and I know that it wasn't that expensive. This is my walking foot for this sewing machine. So, but what happens with this sewing machine is it's actually going to be connected to the top. So you have these feed dogs down at the bottom inside of your sewing machine. And these feed dogs, as you're sewing on your sewing machine, are coming up, and you can feel them. They kind of feel like teeth. And when you feel them, then they come up and they're kind of pushing your fabric through, okay? So when you're dealing with a quilt, there's more layers to it. And so it's nice to have a mechanism that is actually feeding the layers through from the top. And that is what a walking foot does. And it makes it easier to actually quilt something when you do have a walking foot. But in the days that I didn't have a walking foot, I just made sure that I really pushed my quilt through so that I was feeding it through with my arms as much as I did with, I didn't rely completely on the feed dogs on the sewing machine. So you're going to rely on your hands pushing it through. And you can definitely do that. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Gina. My goal was to get on live so much earlier today. And I just don't get to it. Anyways, whatever. I had one son that had a doctor's appointment. So I'm going to show you how I actually put on the walking foot. We did talk about this last time, but I didn't show you how I put a walking foot on my machine. So if you share on Facebook, people are writing shared underneath. We're going to be winning some little fat quarter bundles. You can also share on YouTube and Instagram. But for those that share, then write shared down in your comments, and then you are eligible to win. Let me grab them so you guys can see. There are all these little cute rolls of fabric, and I think they're a fat 8 size. So that's what we're doing. Just so you know, the quilt that we are actually quilting tonight is this quilt that it's called Are Loved Heart Quilt. And it's a big giant heart that's 57 inches by 57 inches. It has one square right here that has a crossword, is that the right word? A word search on the square. And then on here, we're appliquing different words like special, intelligent, talented, and different positive words on here. This is what the quilt looks like behind me. And what's really fun about it is you just kind of take fabrics that you wouldn't necessarily put together. So I'm going to give you an example here on these two fabrics. Well, this is an Amy Butler fabric that I really love. This is an Amy Butler fabric that's a coordinate to that one. This is a Riley Blake fabric. I would never think to combine these two fabrics in a quilt. But what I really love about it is when you stand back, it looks just utterly magnificent when you stand back and you look at it as a quilt. And some of that has meaning to me. For me, it means that a quilt that you're not just loved because you're matching perfectly. Does that make sense? That we can throw things in there that maybe are not idealistically that we're putting together or we're combining together, but we're putting things together that are absolutely beautiful. But and it works. It just works. And I think it's about combining people around the world that might be different. Combining things that maybe our own imperfections or someone's imperfections, that a quilt doesn't have to be completely perfect. Yes, Sandy, I saw that you ordered yours. Okay, so this is the kit that everybody's getting, just so you know. So Sandy actually ordered her kit today, but this is the kit that you get. And you're getting all of these different random solids, and some of them are darker, some of them are lighter. You can see the different shades of red that are in there. And then there's some tone-on-tone whites in there too. But we've tried to make it like a Valentine because we love you guys so much. And it's called the You Are Loved Quilt. And we're trying to make you guys just feel so loved when you get your own quilt kit. Oh, and inside there is actually some floss that you can use for doing the embroidery. And we did the video last night about the embroidery of it. Okay, I have to tell you, it's kind of hard for me to talk tonight. And I think it's because I had a post in here with a root canal and the tooth actually kind of came off. It's really goofy. It doesn't hurt or anything, but it just feels awkward talking. So anyways, we'll see how I do tonight. So what did you say, honey?
Sound like a pirate.
I sound like a pirate? I do. I feel like I'm talking weird. So I don't know if you guys are noticing it, but that's why. Is it's kind of bugging my tongue. I think I'm holding my tongue funny, so I'm not talking as normal. Well, I don't know. What is normal, really? Okay, so that's the meaning about this You Are Loved quilt. And there's so many other meanings to it, too. And there's just so many great things, I think, about this quilt. And plus, it's some big, huge community. We have people all over the world watching these videos. And last night's video that we did just on the basic cross-stitching, it's already to 9,000 views. Do you know how many people that is around the world? And that's not even 24 hours. So it's pretty fun. So anyways, I'm so excited, you guys. And something that I wanted while I'm working tonight. Okay, I'll change this. But while I'm working tonight, I wanted us to talk about how we can make ourselves feel loved and what can keep ourselves in a positive space. Because I would like to write a blog post about that, but I was just realizing this is kind of jumping a little bit as I'm talking. But I want you guys to contribute information about what can make us feel good about ourselves. Is it self-care? Is it, just, can you guys write things in the comments of how we can take care of ourselves and how we can make other people feel loved too. So I want to do a blog post about taking care of ourselves as women or as men, whoever's watching, and then taking care of ourselves, or also how can we make ourselves feel loved and love ourselves, because that's critical, especially if we're taking care of other people. And then also, thank you, Ashley. So Ashley says self-care, going for a walk with my family. Okay, very, very good. Excellent. That's the kind of suggestions I want. And I'm going to include all of your suggestions in my blog post. What makes me feel good about myself is, wait, I have to go back to that comment because I just am not getting it. Anyway, so you guys make contributions about what makes you feel loved and what kind of things can you do to make yourself feel more loved. And yeah, so there we go. We need to start by lifting each other up as women. Okay, very good. I love that. That's from Instagram. Another thing, quilting, someone says, paper crafting. Yes, hobbies are definitely something that make us feel good about ourselves. And also, yeah, so let's, you guys, as you're brainstorming, that's something, kindness, surround yourself with good, happy people. Good. Okay, keep throwing out comments like that, because we are going to go ahead and focus on that. Now, I'm going to put the walking foot on my sewing machine. So I'm going to bring this over a little bit. When you put on the walking foot, you're actually taking off the shaft of the foot, okay? So let me actually go up just a little bit closer for Facebook folks. So you can see this is what it looks like. Let me know if I get blurry on Facebook. You know, I don't get blurry on anything else. Now, I want you to see this is my foot. So remember, I took off the foot. A random compliment from our significant other does so much to lift the spirit. Yes. And we can do a random compliments to actually change the paradigm in a relationship. Okay, we are getting so many great things. What makes me feel good about myself is sewing cozies for the Cancer Center. I agree. Serving others helps us love ourselves too. Okay, let me go back and connect this. So I am going to connect this back together. So this is what this looks like. So remember, this is kind of the shaft of the sewing machine right there. And the foot disconnects from this shaft. Does that make sense? How this shaft was on there, it was on the sewing machine like this, all right? And there was a screw that I took out. So you might recognize this screw. I'm showing Facebook, I'm showing YouTube, and I'm showing Instagram. So, can you have what? A Coke? A Diet Coke? It's so late at night to have a Diet Coke, honey. Don't have caffeine this late. No, find something different. Oh, my son, he wants a Diet Coke this late at night. It's kind of, okay, smiling at a stranger and receiving a smile back. Okay, so these are, Luke, you can go to the gas station, get like a Sprite or something without caffeine. Okay, so did you see that I'm unscrewing this? All right, I'm unscrewing this and I took off the shaft. Okay, so because the walking foot, you guys can see, has its own shaft. So for those of you that you can see where that screw would go through, let me show Facebook without making it go blurry. So here is the shaft right there. This is the other shaft that holds the foot. So I'm going to screw this on, but I do not want to lose this piece. So I'm going to very quickly put this in my little holder so that I don't lose that shaft, because I'd have to probably order it from the internet. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the same screw that I took off that other shaft with, and I'm actually going to screw this on. But before I do, there is another screw up here that holds your needle. So one of the other things that we have to do, but we don't have to do it all, we'll do it in just one moment. But the screw that holds your needle in is what goes right in here, okay? You're gonna slide this part of it into the screw that loosens your needle to change your needle. So, and remember, before you start quilting a quilt, you always change your needles. Okay, this machine right here, I lived in a small town, actually Yuma, Arizona, when I finally got my first big grown-up sewing machine, is a Husqvarna Viking. And that was one of the only dealerships they had there, was Pfaff and Husqvarna Viking. But any kind, oh no, I did go blurry. It's probably because I went up there. Okay, I'll sit real still for a minute. So, but any kind of sewing machine can do this, okay? Any kind of sewing machine. You do not have to have an expensive sewing machine to do domestic quilting on your sewing machine. You don't need something expensive. So don't feel like that at all, because my first sewing machine I had for probably 10 years, and it was one that I inherited from my mother. So don't feel like you have to have an expensive sewing machine. Just get a sewing machine that sews and sews a nice straight line, okay? So I've just attached that walking foot to my sewing machine. I wanted you guys to understand a little bit more what that's like. Now, I am going to change my needle, because remember we talked about we want a really sharp needle to go through this. So you can actually purchase quilting needles, but you can also purchase denim jean needles. They're really the same needle, okay, when you look at the specs of the needles. So where do you buy the kit? Oh, if you want to buy the kit, okay, if you guys want the pattern, the kit, or the tutorial that's online, go to, just type yes please in the comments of Facebook, and Facebook will automatically send you the 3 links to the kit, the tutorial, and then the PDF instructions that you can print off. So type yes please if you need the kit from Facebook. All right, I don't have that ability on YouTube or Instagram, but if you want the kit and all the informations and the instructions, type yes please in the comments and it will automatically send it to you. All right, so a lot of people have that, but you will get every single bit of the pattern and everything if you type yes please on there. I'm going to change my needle while we're talking. So we're changing the needle. I've been using this needle for a while, so I'm going to throw this one away. Here's my garbage. Okay, it's now thrown away. Now I'm going to put this needle in here. I'm going to hold it by the tip. Oops, that was my shaft that fell out of my bottom of my sewing machine. I'm going to move that to a different spot. It's on my lap. Okay, I'm holding the needle up to its high spot. Here's my shaft that I took off, remember, for the walking foot. Don't want to lose that. Okay, I'm going to slip it into the back along with the screwdriver. Okay, so new needle in, walking foot on. You don't have to have a walking foot. I need to make sure I have my glasses on in order to thread the sewing machine. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, oh, didn't catch. It has a threader, but my threader on this is just slightly bent, and I don't want to take the sewing machine in just to service this bent threader. I guess I could thread the needle, right? and be a big girl. Okay, there, it's threaded. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to start the quilting process, but we're going to talk about how we're going to quilt this quilt. I don't know why that's there right now. Okay, that's okay. Okay, so there are lots of ways that we could quilt this quilt. We could actually quilt it, and it's good to talk about this. Let me think. I wish I had a pattern that was printed off. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the quilt right here behind me real fast. So we're going to talk about this quilt right here. And I am going to fix something so that this can be seen a little bit better. Let me just fix something real quick, because actually these cameras are sitting on this table, and as soon as the table starts vibrating, it will vibrate the cameras from the sewing machine. So we could actually quilt this from corner to corner diagonally through the quilt, okay? And then we could come across this way and quilt it again through every single part, and that would give us X's within the quilt. We could also quilt down and stitch. That's called stitching in the ditch, where you're stitching in the ditch along the horizontal and the vertical lines. So that would be a great way to quilt the quilt. So that is one idea that there is to quilt the quilt. There are so many other ways. If you're new to domestic machine quilting, that is a wonderful idea for this quilt, is just stitch in the ditch this way horizontally and vertically, and then diagonally quilt down the different lines. That's very, very simple, and it's an easy way to actually machine quilt it. All right, I am actually going to try something a little different. I don't know why. Maybe I should just quilt it that way. I don't know. Maybe I should just quilt it that way. I'm not sure. Okay, but we're getting ready to start quilting. One thing that I thought about doing was actually mirroring the curves, the heart shape. So I was thinking about stitching right along here, along the edge of the quilt, in, you know, where the seam is, and then going 4 inches in and stitching again along the heart path. Does that make sense? And then going another 4 inches and stitching along the heart path. I then want to go back and do it at 2 inches in between those 4 inches. So that might be, so am I blurry again on Facebook? I'm gonna be so sad. I use my iPhone X for the Facebook ones, and it's just so silly. Okay, anyways, so am I still blurry? I don't know. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use one other feature for the sewing machine. So I'm gonna show you that method, but you can definitely stitch in the ditch and go diagonally. Very easy way to machine quilt this quilt, and fast. So instead of sending it out to a long armor, you are actually going to very easily and quickly get that done. Okay, we need to find one other tool that I think I set behind me. I am so sorry. Let's see here. It might be in here. Oh, it is. Okay. I love antiques, and I keep a lot of my things in antiques. Right here is a tool that you usually get with your sewing machines. I don't know if you can see this, but we're going to use this as a line gauge, okay? And this is what's going to help me to know that actually it's not even 4 inches long. We're gonna have to go 3 inches. So we're gonna do, maybe we'll do the 2 inches on this, because I just measured this width from here to here, and it's 3 inches. So we're not gonna be able to do 4 inches. We're gonna have to do 2. So we're gonna put this at the 2-inch mark, and you just put it on the back of your walking foot. So I don't know if you can see on my sewing machine, I just added, let me move this down just slightly for you guys on Facebook. I just added this right here. So here's this tool. It's on the back of my walking foot is this little tiny, it's just like a little hole that you slide this tool into. Okay, and I've seen this come with just about every sewing machine. Just most people don't understand that this is what this tool is for. But that's what we're going to use to actually mirror these lines along. I'm going to use a ruler to then measure this tool at 2 inches from the where the needle goes down. So that is the 2-inch mark right there. Let me move this over just a tiny bit more, and that looks good. And then let's see, do I have a piece of tape here? Because I would like that to stay put. Okay, so we're going to use these 2 things to quilt this quilt. So I'm going to go ahead and start quilting. And I am actually, this is a bit unusual. I'm actually going to start around the circumference of the quilt versus the center of the quilt. So normally you would start towards the center. You'd start working on the quilt towards the center, but I'm going to work on the quilt from the exterior because I'm going to try to do this method of, which I don't need this on for this first stitch. You're not going to want to stitch super teeny tiny stitches. You're going to want to stitch stitches that maybe at a 3 or a 4 stitch length, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and go around on the edges of this, and this will be nice to have done because it's going to be as if you basted the quilt. Now, I think I might also put a mic on since the sewing machine is so noisy. Okay, so let's go ahead, and one thing that you do is if you want the pattern for this quilt, just write yes please on Facebook. If you want the pattern and you're on Instagram and YouTube, just go to my stitchesquilting.com website and you'll see all the different places. There's the kit listed on there, there's the pattern listed on there, the tutorial, and then there's a place to opt in to get the pattern through email. Let me know if that's not working. So I am gonna mic up so I can talk while I am actually doing this demonstration. So if that's okay with you guys, I think that might help. At least when you're using the sewing machine, it gets noisier. So, and then if you share the video, then you're eligible to win one of the little rolls of fabric that we've got. So hold on, that I have prepped. So I'm gonna just bring this microphone over here real fast, just for one quick second. So sorry. Oh, I forgot. Oh, that's so funny. That doggone iPhone X, it has an adapter. I can't use a regular plug. Isn't that ornery? Okay, I'll have my husband help me fix that in a little bit. He just ran an errand. Okay, so I'm going along the circumference of the quilt. And I'm going to put my needle in the down position. If you don't have a needle up or down position, you're going to rotate it on the side so that when you pivot, you're going to rotate. I'm just going along the edge of the heart. I'm at the V part of the heart up at the top. And this will be a good basting around your quilt. And I usually roll this up real nicely so that you can move it around. But since we're going around all 4 edges, I'm not going to worry about rolling it up right now, and we're on the exterior of the quilt. So I'm not as worried about the quilt being rolled up. You can fit this through any domestic sewing machine, any of them. And you can see, if I didn't have this walking foot, I would just push this along like that with my hands. Does that make sense? Who here actually uses, oh, thank you. So Pam, you can hear me just fine while I'm sewing? Okay, good. So who here actually feels comfortable sewing with their domestic, quilting with their domestic sewing machine? Does anybody feel comfortable with that? I actually own a long arm machine, and Vanessa is going to long arm her quilt. So we're going to show you how to long arm a quilt on the long arm because it's just kind of fun. But I learned how to machine quilt my quilts from day one because I'm always so excited to have my quilt. Okay, so not a very big quilt yet. That's right, you can start small. And actually, we'll go ahead and I'll teach you how to start small. In fact, maybe we'll do a hot pad. I've got a really cute pattern for like a long cookie sheet hot pad. So you can see I'm just moving this along, and it's really not that much work. I have only in my lifetime had one quilt long armed, and I've had one quilt ever in my entire lifetime to have it long armed. And the quilt that I had long armed was because I opened up my brick and mortar quilt store, and I needed it long armed immediately to as a display for quilting fabric. Mom? Otherwise, I've never done that before. It's right there. Okay. So anyways, so I can't imagine the cost of having to send quilts out to be quilted. But they are beautiful. There are just such talented long armers yet out there. I mean, I can't even believe how talented they are. I do not have a computerized long arm. My long arm is not computerized. My son so you can see right here, I'm not doing this white part. So I'm going to roll this up so it's easier to feed through the neck of the sewing machine. So let me go ahead, and that's what you do as you're feeding it through, is just roll it up. So yeah, I do have people come over to my home and I will teach them how to long arm, but I don't long arm for people. I do not long arm for people. For me, I'm just too nervous to long arm for somebody. So I don't know. Yeah, you know what? It is easy. Dee Dee, it's extremely easy to machine quilt your quilt. It takes time, but it's fun. I get to hear the sewing machine hum, and that makes me feel so happy. And I can sit here and enjoy family. I can sit here and enjoy watching, something online. I can enjoy maybe listening to an audiobook. I can enjoy music. I can enjoy so many different things. And then I can enjoy just the beauty of the quilt too. So I love peeking back here. So you can see this is that first stitch line right here. So here's the first stitch line. So you can see that, oh, here, let's look right here. Here I am going along the edge. And then up here, I went along this corner. I love looking, even when I long arm the quilts, some of my quilts, when I long arm, I actually love looking at the stitching on the back. It just is so pretty. And I do like this Kisses fabric. Vanessa is using, I don't know if I already said this, but this is what Vanessa is using as the back of her quilt, is this Amy Butler large florals. So that's what she's using for her. I was gonna, if we have enough time, I was gonna teach you how to piece together the back of your quilt. So tips on keeping back batting and the top taut while we're quilting. Okay, all right, well, what I did, you guys, I was a little lazy, all right? I'm just doing a lot of different things. Sarah, I'm glad that this wants you to get back into quilting, because I'd rather spend money on fabric and supplies or other things than I would on having it long armed. But you know what? I can't do necessarily what those long armers do. But what's amazing right now is the world of quilting is all about kind of a modern twist on quilting. It's not about making feathers. It's not about making things, it's really about line work. Have you guys noticed that a lot of the machine quilting that you're doing to your quilts are actually line work? What do you guys think? How long are your stitches? I have mine setting to a number 3. on my stitch length. I actually did a quilt at a number 5 as a stitch length. I don't know how that translates. You're right. How many stitches per inch? I'll try to figure that out for you guys. That's a very good question. That was on Instagram. But sometimes if you have your stitches too long, when I am sitting down with my quilt and I'm doing something and my dogs sit on my lap and then I just kind of want to rearrange around, if your stitch length is too long, it'll kind of break a little bit. Sometimes the stitches will, but you know, I mean, the quilt's quilted. It's not going to come apart. Remember, you need to have about every 4 inches is quilted. So that's about the hand of your palm. So you don't have to have every ounce. Where's that ruler? You don't have to have every inch of your quilt necessarily quilted. And I'm sorry, this quilt means so much to me because I've made it with all of you guys and made it from around the world with all of you guys. Do you have a plan? Yes, I have a plan for quilting this quilt. I am actually going around the circumference of the heart, and every time I come around the circumference, I'm going to go in 2 inches around the heart. So it's going to be like what's the word? You guys, you have to help me with my words, remember? So when the lines are going around and around, almost like a rippled heart, I don't know, which maybe when we love one person, it ripples out to lots of people. I don't know. I always have to find meaning to things. Is that not just crazy? Anyways, you could do 4 inches. You could, and it also depends on the quality of your batting. So I'm just coming around, I think almost to where I started. Let's go ahead and look where I'm at. I think I'm getting pretty close. But I'm gonna just enjoy sitting here and domestic quilting this. Now, on this quilt, just so you guys know, I could have done another lesson for you on how to layer your quilt and how to baste all the layers together. Yes, I am keeping a straight line because I am following the line of the heart. Okay, so I'm stitching in the ditch. Let's see here. Here we go. So you can see, so someone asked, how do I keep a straight line? This is a straight line of stitching in the ditch right there. Does that make sense, Cheryl? So if you look at the other side, I just followed stitching in the ditch on that. The next time around, how I'm going to keep that straight line is I'm going to use this little tool that usually comes with every single sewing machine. You put it right back here, and I'm going to measure it 2 inches from the line that I just did. This quilt makes me happy too, Donna. I love this quilt. And I love, in fact, my other quilt, I have to show you. Where is it? The one that we made together that was the easy. All these quilts have so much meaning to me. I don't think I can like get rid of them. So Vanessa and I are just having so much fun making these quilts. We usually make 2 quilts for every quilt that we're teaching the quilts for. So she keeps one and I keep one. Isn't that funny? Because we want to have a sample for you to look at, but then we want to have one to actually be working on that we can be doing this. Now, a lot of you ladies have asked about putting a border around this quilt. And one person even asked about putting a row of white squares on the top of the heart. So someone's going to be doing that too. I can't wait to see everybody's, the way that they make this quilt theirs, okay? And we have people that already have their quilt tops made because they're using their own fabrics, okay? So let me come back around and see if I've gone around that. I'm almost to, yeah, I just have this one little bit and I will have come around the full circle. Okay, needle down. If you don't have needle down, you push your needle down and then you're gonna pivot it, okay? So let's look here. So this is one big giant worldwide sew along. And I hope you guys are sewing too. And I hope we can think about each other as we're sewing. All right? I really do. And you can make this for yourself or you can make this for someone else. And I'm sorry, but I do want this quilt. Isn't that just crazy? Okay, so I'm coming up to where I started. Now, we back stitch when we're quilting, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come up here, and sometimes I actually press the reverse button. I don't know, this might be controversial for some of you guys. I don't know. But when I come up here and I come to back stitch, I could press the back stitch button and go over it, but I could also hold my quilt in place with my hands. Just press the gas but hold it and it's not gonna go anywhere. Okay, so I just went around the circumference of the quilt. Good, did you get the oh, I want some, honey. I want to share that with the ladies. Can you bring me mine? Okay, so I went around the circumference of the heart. Okay, you guys, it looks so beautiful. Let me show you the back. And I hope I don't make any of the cameras go out of focus because I'm moving things around. So I went around the whole circumference of this quilt. This is not what I would normally do. I wouldn't normally start from the outside in. Now, I'm gonna attach this tool. Let's see here. I'll have my husband. Oh, I know what I'll use. So I'm gonna attach this tool, remember, at 2 inches. Where's my ruler? Don't you, isn't that the funniest part about quilting and sewing? You have to look under everything to find what you need. Hold on. Oh, there's my ruler behind me. Sometimes you guys know where I put things. How do you keep the quilt even and keep the back from wrinkling? Okay, so that trick happens when you actually layer your quilt right. So you want to layer your quilt just right. And then that will just work out all on its own. So I am measuring 2 inches from my needle and I just put this little tool in. Did everybody see that? Let me do it one more time. Here's this tool that comes with your sewing machine, okay, usually, and it goes right here in the back of this walking foot. If you have your regular foot on, there's this same little hole on every single back of your foot. If you didn't know that, and if you don't have this tool, then you need to, we'll figure out a way to rig one. I don't know. I'll come up with something creative. Okay, so right now I have it measured at 2 inches. So what does layering the quilt just right? Let me grab a piece of tape because I'm going to tape that. And I don't have a piece of tape very handy, so I'm going to use a lint roller. I don't know about you guys, but I keep a lint roller in my sewing quilting room because, you know what? We need them in here. So I always need more. Hey, Nick Jones, how's it going? So I always keep a lint roller in here because we get pretty linty. Now you can do this on any kind of sewing machine, you guys. I did this forever when I didn't have, I did this, my mother gave me her 30-year-old like Kenmore sewing machine, and I used that sewing machine until it died. So don't feel like you have to go out and buy a new sewing machine. Okay, so I measured this, and I'm gonna just tape it on here because I'm moving this quilt around quite a bit, right? And it's a bit bulky. So I'm not gonna rely on that. So I just put a little piece of tape back there, okay? So on your machine, it's open to the left, and yours is open. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't have my screen flipped. So it looks like, oh, it's blurry. Oh, I'm so sad. We're going back to that Apple store. Okay, let's see, Anna, let me know as soon as if it gets better. I am so sorry, you guys. So let's put this down. So we are going to now lift up this foot, lift this up. I'm going to put this quilt in here. I'm lifting up my needle and I'm placing this quilt in here. I'm not as worried about turning this quilt here in the center because I have lots of room. Let me know if it is. This is not a left-handed machine. It's just that my, oh, whoops. Sorry. Let me go back up. I need to actually put this on the other side. So hold on. I put it on the wrong side. The screen is showing it reverse because it is, because I'm filming this so I can see your comments. And since I'm seeing your comments, then it shows it as backwards or reverse. So I've never seen a left-handed sewing machine. Oh, keep stopping blurring. Okay, so let me stop for a minute and let's try to get that not blurry. Hi, Deanna, how's it going? It's so fun to see all you wonderful people on there. Okay, so I'm gonna stop for a minute. Let me know if it's blurring or not. I'm going over and I'm using this guide, this seam guide, to now start stitching this at the 2-inch mark. So I'm going to stitch it 2 inches in from my last seam. So you can see this guide. Let me turn the sewing machine around. I hope that doesn't make anything. Hi, Stacy. Okay, I don't want to mess up the way that this is focused. So we're gonna go ahead and turn this around so you guys can see it. I'm turning that. Okay, this is a little awkward. You know, when you do sew on a domestic sewing machine, it is a little awkward. So I'm gonna turn this around. So just one moment. And let me turn this around for you too. Okay, so what I'm doing, let me show you this very clearly if we can. Remember I put this piece in the sewing machine? I'm using, let's bring this closer for you guys. Okay, why did I put the tape? I put the tape because this is so awkward and bulky. And I put the tape back here because I want to, let me go ahead and show you this one more time. There we go. So remember, I'm using this piece on the sewing machine. And I'm going to use this, it's a tool that usually comes with all sewing machines. I'm going to, oh, thank you. It is not blurry. It's clear. Thank you, you guys. I'm using this tool right here. So, so that I can, this is a gauge measurer. It always comes with your sewing machine. It goes right in the back of the foot, of your foot. And if you measure it at 2 inches, which the needle is down, it's at 2 inches. I'm going to use this little guide here. So let me go ahead and show you one more time. I'm going to use this little guide to follow along my stitch line that I just did. All right. And then we're going to, I'm taping this on here because I don't want this to budge. I'm pushing through all of this, the thick quilt. And since I'm pushing that through, I don't want that to budge on us, right? Because it's just, you know, quilting a quilt, it's just bulky. And we don't want that to happen to us. So remember, this is a great time to learn how to quilt, is because modern quilting is so in, and straight line quilting. So that's what we're doing here, is we're doing some modern straight line quilting on a domestic sewing machine. All right, I'm going to turn this sewing machine back around, and I'm going to keep quilting, and then I'll show you what this looks like. All right? I hope that this has been helpful. Is this helpful? And then something also, you guys, that we're thinking about is I'm trying to have you guys make comments of what makes us feel loved and take care of ourselves. Oh, I changed the stitch by moving it. Hold on, let me go back to my other stitches. There we go, back to that stitch. Oh, I need to change the stitch length. There we go. Okay, so that's what I get for moving my machine around. Okay, let me make sure everybody can see the sewing machine. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and use that guide. My foot, my presser foot sliding away. We gotta get that foot, catch it. Okay, there we go. So you can see, even with a walking foot on the top and the feed dogs on the bottom, I'm pushing this quilt through a little bit myself and giving it a good little push through the sewing machine. I'm trying to see all the comments. Corey, I'm sorry. Joyce, I gotta figure out how to turn this around the other way. Someone told me last night, and I need to look at this. Luke, I need Corey. Can you get Corey for me, please? Okay, so I just pivoted at the corner of the heart. So we're now going around. We're going around on this quilt. If you share the video, then you're eligible to win. Yes, I need you to sit with me, honey, and read these comments. So do you see all of these little things? We are actually going to give these away to 4 people online. And yes, there are quilting gloves, but I actually feel more comfortable just using my hands. But some people feel more comfortable using quilting gloves. But if you share the video, then go ahead and share it in Facebook or on Instagram or on YouTube. And we're sending some little rolls of fabric to you guys, okay? That we'll pick 4 people from Facebook, 2 from Instagram, and 1 from YouTube. So we're gonna go ahead and keep quilting this. If you want the instructions to the quilt, the full instructions along with the full tutorial, or to where to buy this quilt kit, write yes please in the comments of the Facebook live video, okay? Just write yes please, and then it will automatically be sent to you through Facebook Messenger. Okay, I'm coming over to the point where I'm pivoting. So I have my needle down, okay? Keep that needle down and pivot the quilt, because we're going around the top of the quilt right up here, okay? So I'm pivoting it, and I'm staying 2 inches from my last stitching line. So line work, instead of feathers and everything else, is very, let me move this quilt again because I'm going around the circumference of the quilt, is very modern. This is the way, so feathers and everything else in a quilt is not necessary for beautiful, beautiful quilts. If you look at some of the quilts that are getting prizes, I mean, at like different quilt shows and stuff, I mean, most of them are just line work, you guys. So, you know, you can do this at home and save yourself some money. And I will do another tutorial. Deanna, you need a tripod to put behind you. Okay. Corey. Corey, honey. You're right. I do need a tripod behind me. We can move the iPhone camera behind me. So let's do that really quickly. Corey, honey. Luke, get Corey for me. Okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna move the camera around. Okay, so now I'm going down to this point. Tell Corey I really need him. I need him badly. Tell him Mom needs you badly. Okay, I'm pivoting again at the point in the heart. Corey, we're going to move this camera behind me so the ladies can see what I'm doing behind me. So can you bring this tripod, just scoop it up? Like,
I'm going to unplug all this.
That's fine, go ahead. And then scoop it up, and then Corey's going to move you. Make it skinny.
I don't know how to do that.
No, lift it up. You're not, okay. But we're going to put it behind me this way, honey.
All right.
Here, let me help Corey. You guys are getting a good little view of my sewing studio. Okay, let me go ahead and move this over here. So I don't know what all you guys got to see, but this is what my sewing studio looks like. Okay, and let's get it. So sorry you guys for moving you. Thank you for your patience. So you can see what I'm actually stitching. And on Facebook, you can get that angle. Okay, so does that help, you guys? That was a great suggestion. Someone on Facebook said that. There are things over there that are the next projects that we're making. So you can get a little highlight of that. Okay, so you can see I'm using this little gauge to measure my 2 inches from my last stitch line right here. I wish I could move you guys over easily too. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep doing this. So I'm 2 inches from my last stitching line. All right, and I mean, this is really pretty easy, you guys. It doesn't feel stressful to me. So there we are, I'm coming up to this point, and then my sewing machine has a normal needle down thing. Here you would turn your sewing machine so your needle was down, and now I'm going to pivot. So once again, here's my little thing. measuring from the stitch line right there, okay? So let's keep this going. Keep this going. And let's see here, we'll keep it going. And there it is down. We're gonna go ahead and pivot it around. And then there we go. So you can see it's not that difficult. Oh, it's blurry. I'm gonna cry if it's blurry. Maybe I just move back. Let me move back so it's not blurry. And let me move you guys forward. Okay, hold on. Let me move you guys forward. Oh wait, we don't want you vibrating on the table. Hold on. Let me fix this. Let me bring this leg down. Because yep, I bet it is blurry because you were touching the table. The tripod was touching the table. So let's see here. There we go. So maybe that would help. Is it okay now? I think you were touching the table. It's frozen. I'm sorry. Okay, we're gonna keep this going. Hopefully that will re-stabilize. I tell you, that iPhone X, what a joke. I'd be better off with my older iPhone. Okay, here we go. So I'm continuing to pivot. It's torture, blurry. Oh no, oh, it's better, okay, good. Yeah, I've now disconnected you from so you're not touching the table. I don't want anyone to touch table. Here I am, move the quilt back around, better, okay, good. Thank you guys for your patience. I really appreciate you guys. I know it's kind of awkward to show someone live how to do this, but at least you can ask questions, right? So here we go. Let's go ahead and keep going. So we're gonna keep going along. And I'm just going 2 inches from the edge of my last stitch line. And I'm using that gauge to put it on there. Okay, too much light. You're right. Let me turn off one of these lights. That is too much light. Okay, let me just turn off one of these lights here. Thank you, you guys. That's too much going over there. Okay, that will be good. Usually I have someone in here assisting me, but we have lots of things that everybody's doing. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to pivot again right here. So I'm pivoting right at that, where that's meeting that corner, and we're starting down again. So really, I mean, you could do this just by stitching in the ditch and the X's in the blocks, which I think would be so beautiful for your quilt to have the X's in this heart quilt, right? But I don't know, I just kind of wanted this radiating heart pattern. So it kind of just kept radiating along. And I think this quilt is so interesting, again, because not all the fabrics match. But when you look at it from afar, it really matches. I mean, it really, really does match. Okay, so what are more ways that we can take care of ourselves? Can you zoom in on the guide thing? Let me see here. Okay, so here's the guide. And let me go ahead and move this slowly. Let me move this slowly, and I'll come in on this. Is it blurry? Is it still in focus? Okay, so here's the guide. Can you see this guide? And it is just sitting right there, and this is my last stitch line right here, and it's just guiding along, and it's behind in the back of my foot. So, and I'm just going to stitch along. And you can see as I follow that line, I'm just following my last stitch line. There is nothing complicated about this. Does that make sense? There's just nothing complicated about that. So then now that you can see that, I'm going to go ahead and move the camera back up.
What if that statement is complicated, Mom?
Oh, my son just came in and said, what if that statement is complicated?
I think they can hear me, Pup.
I know, but you know what? It really needs to be closer. Okay, let's move you guys closer. Here we go. And maybe I can zoom this in.
Is this on?
Yes, Jake. In fact, if you would help me. Let me see if I can zoom it in. Oh, I can. Oh, look, I can zoom it in. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
See, Mom, this is why.
Okay, here we go.
You're not the
Cancel. Okay, can you guys see that?
tech person in the
Did I
family.
text? Did I? Okay, here we go. So we're going to go ahead and go like this. And no, honey, please don't.
Wait, I'm just moving it like
Okay, that's good. Sometimes it gets blurry. Okay, we're coming down to the point of the heart. Do you see? We're coming down to the point of the heart. Thanks, you guys, for teaching me. As I'm teaching you, like what's the better camera angle.
Wait, what about these guys?
Instagram has ended, and YouTube, I can't, if I had you earlier, it'd be great to, do you want to move YouTube over here, Jake?
Sure.
Okay. Except,
No.
okay, so yeah, and it's plugged in, but you can unplug it.
Well, what's the battery? I can't see.
It's just fine. Don't
Let me
worry
scroll
about the
down.
battery. It's been charging for a while.
Oh, no, Mom, it's 33.
That's okay. You can go ahead.
Here we go.
And
Oh,
let's
wait.
see. Find maybe a box to put that on. Okay, let's keep this
One
going.
second.
Okay, so let's go
Is
ahead.
this, yeah, that's good.
Jake, I think there's some plastic bins just right outside the room.
Okay.
Okay, so here we are. I'm just following the stitch line. You can see this, okay? I'm just following the stitch line, and this guide is helping me see this, okay? So your machine did not come with a guide. Where can I go buy one? I'm gonna find out. And yes, the sewing machine is backwards because that's perfect, Jake. Thank you. Okay, YouTube, we're gonna get you so you can see the sewing machine in action and the guide. Okay, so here we go.
Hey, Mom.
Yes, sir.
The,
All right, so we're continuing to use the guide.
once you're done, can I steal that so I can work on...
You can
that
sew
one
on that
for
other sewing
surgery?
machine. My son is actually making something for his sweetheart for Valentine's Day. So the thread
Hey,
that you
he
want is
wasn't
over on that
watching.
sewing machine.
I want him to watch.
Okay, so he's got this cutest sweetheart.
Mom.
Okay, so here we go.
Wait, did you thread this one?
I did not thread it, but it has the thread you want over on that
Oh,
sewing
sorry,
machine.
I mean like put it here.
Yes, I did. I put it all over there for you.
Will
Okay, does
mess
this
with the
help?
audio?
Okay, Jake, just let me keep teaching. I know you know how to make that sewing machine work. Isn't that cute that my kids know how to do this? Self-care. Okay, thank you. Yes, allowing yourself to be swallowed in the care of another person. Standing up for your own needs. Very good point. Yes, don't let people abuse you. Set healthy boundaries with others. Okay, we came to this point right here. What are ways that you can help yourself feel loved? It is so important. Okay, we just came to our circumference right here. This was our full circle. So I'm now going to back stitch right here. I'm just back stitching. I could push the reverse button, but I'm just holding my fabric in place. Okay, I know I'm lame. I'm going to, this sewing machine, it cuts the thread. You guys don't need a fancy sewing machine like this. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to use this guide. So I'm pivoting in. I'm on my third segment in. Okay, we don't have to keep doing this video forever, but I want you guys to see this. So I'm going to start right here at this point. I'm going to start right there at that point. So here's this point. I'm starting 45 or the degree just straight in. I'm putting my needle down. I'm going to come forward. And now I'm going to pivot this so it's mirroring this one line. Okay. Now, if you don't have this stitching guide, oh, my tape came off. But I think it's staying put. I think it's staying put. Maybe I need to not be so fussy about it. I just feel like there's so much bulk here. But you can see that I'm just following the pattern and the path of the last stitching line. Look at how pretty this is. So you can see we've got one right here and one right here, these two lines. Let's look at the back. So on the back, you guys can see, I love looking at the back. It makes me feel so good. And I love this Kisses fabric on the back too. But you can see that here are the lines of the quilting. right here and right here, the circumference of the heart, and then the inner circle of the heart, okay? Look at how pretty that looks. So this is the You Are Loved quilt. You guys, I'm sorry to keep saying this, but some people join us midway through. If you want to get a kit or you want the pattern to this, then go ahead and write yes please in the comments of the video. Just write yes please, and Facebook will automatically send you the pattern, the instructions, the tutorial, and where to buy the kit if you want it. If you don't want to buy the kit and you want to use your own fabrics, but you still want this word search block, you can just buy the block if you want to. These are 10-inch squares. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have to show you what we eat for dinner, okay?
Not every night.
Not every night. Okay, good, Dee Dee. I'm glad that you do. Look, this is another way to take care of yourself is by eating healthy food. So this is a protein bowl, and my husband just made this for me. Oh my goodness. But you can see it's made with like acai berry and then some granola. We do put a little bit of dark chocolate in there. Isn't this lovely? And some banana. This is another way that we can love ourselves is by taking care of ourselves, eating healthy, exercising, fitness, all those kinds of things, right? I know maybe this looks gross, but this is like eating heaven for me. I need to share the recipe with you. It's really phenomenal. It has like peanut butter in it. It has a acai berry. Is that how you say that word, Corey? Okay, I'm on my third time around. So I think you guys can get the gist of what this is about, okay? I think you guys can understand that we are line quilting. Oh, let me untuck that as I'm moving my quilt around. I'm pivoting it around, and you can see that it's not that difficult. And maybe we need to do another video of how to layer your quilt. So how to layer the backing fabric, the batting fabric, and the front, okay, your quilt top. And because by getting a really good layering, which I actually use spray basting, is what I use for this quilt top because I didn't have very much time today between all the other things I had to do. So I spray basted these all together. You can pin these layers together. You can hand baste them together. You can do whatever you want to do. But I spray basted and I'm so pleased with the result. I haven't been spray basting in many, many years. So you can see that this walking foot, I do have the feed dogs are up. So the feed dogs are pushing the fabric through from the bottom, and the walking foot is helping to push the fabric through on the top. So here we are, we're coming at the point of the triangle, of the heart. So this is the point of the heart where it goes down. So let me show you how to go. Corey says it, my husband says it's the point of no return. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. Okay, so I'm going to show you what to do at this point right here. What did you think? Let me see. What do you think of quilts as you go quilting? Oh yes. What do you think? Yes, you're right. I think of so many things. I think of such happy things. I really do. So now on this one, let me get since got red fabric right there. Oh, let me get the point-to-point turner. You can see right here that this is coming down and then this is going over. The stitch is coming up here. It's kind of hard to see because it's red fabric. So it's hard to see that stitching line right there. But I'm actually going to extend this down to here, 2 inches from that point, and we can measure it if we want to. All right? So let's go ahead and we're going to extend past this point about 2 inches. So I can measure this with my ruler. Does anybody know where I put my ruler last? Jake, can you hand me the ruler over there, bud? Actually, can you hand me a skinny ruler over there? I need a skinny ruler. Yeah. You've got yeah, that's a perfect ruler. Wait. Okay, yep, skinny. That's an even skinnier ruler. Okay, so here's a really skinny ruler. So I'm going to make sure that I'm 2 inches below that point. So on this guide, so oh wait, I broke that ruler. So this is oh, I'm just about 2 inches. I'm going to just go a little bit further.
Break the rules. She breaks the ruler.
Corey said that some people break the rules, but I broke the ruler. I did. I don't know how I broke that ruler.
Funny. I'm just,
Oh, Corey, you are funny. You're always funny. We love your jokes.
AC man.
So yeah, I'm 2 inches down. So we're gonna pivot
I
this.
fake laughing at your jokes just to make.
Oh,
you feel good.
yeah. So how we can do that is by the seam of this fabric. So I actually need to back stitch a little bit. I went too far. I'm gonna back stitch, and I can unpick that out. Let's go back forward again. So that's okay. So actually, we know when to pivot because there's a seam right there in the fabric. Silly me. Silly me. I just have to think about the math for a minute. Okay, so once again, we're going to do line work. If we wanted to, we could go back around this quilt and actually, I'm going to straighten this out so that my lines are straight. We could go back around this quilt and do it again at 2 inches and then later do it at 1 inch or 4 inches or whatever you think that you want to do. But make sure that you always have about 4 inches that are quilted when you're going, because otherwise your batting will ball up. So this is a great time in your life to start quilting because line work in terms of quilting is so in. It's just, and you don't have to do what's in, but it's beautiful. Yes, I do love my husband. He's the best man ever. I always tell people that if you want to touch an angel in real life, you touch my husband.
That's enough of that.
He's telling me that's enough of it. But oh my goodness, he's an amazing man. I really love him. He's so sweet.
Is this true? Come here.
Oh, my son's touching my husband to see if he's touching an angel.
Mom.
Okay, I'm pivoting again.
Mom, clarify where exactly, because
Where exactly is what?
where touching.
Oh, where to touch? Oh, you can touch my husband anywhere.
No.
On the arm.
Stop.
No, just be appropriate. Be appropriate touching. My gosh, the things you have to tell your kids. I'm sorry, you guys.
Me too.
Yeah, the things I have to tell my
Me too
husband.
movement.
Yeah, the Me Too movement.
Corey's like a kid.
We're just teasing. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think you guys have the gist. Do you guys kind of have the gist to this? Where do you buy the guide? You know what? I'm going to look that up for you about where to buy the guide, okay? Because this guide always came with my sewing machine. So let's show you the guide again. Here's the guide. Here's the guide. Okay? If we can't figure this out, we are going to, yeah, it's a right angle. It's a right angle. And you got to be able to put like a little, even if you had a dowel rod, you could make this, right? Yeah, on Amazon. If anybody's on Amazon, can you search where you can buy it? Yes, my son is funny. They're all funny. I'm going to go ahead and put this a little bit bigger. Okay, so this is the guide that I'm using for line work while I'm sewing on the sewing machine for quilting, okay? And let me show you the back, you guys. It's just so beautiful. I wish we could see the third line. I'll have to go turn it around, but I don't want anything to go fuzzy. So if anyone can find the guide on Amazon, share the link so that you can see where to buy one of these guides. And let me take off, well, I don't know if I want to take off my foot completely. Where is my, I don't really want to take that off. Oh, here, I'll show you. I have another one right here. Oh, look, this is a Singer. This is a Singer, this is so affordable. It's a Singer walking foot. Okay, you guys, do you see that right there? And look, it has that hole back there. All of these feet have this hole, even your regular shaft of your foot. I would show you, but I've already, so you just slide this in back behind there. And that's how you get, oh, wait. There's another one right back there. No, that one doesn't have it. Oh, it does have it. It's just this one's a little thick for it. So, but yeah, you would put it in through that. So you probably need a Singer brand to go through the Singer foot right there. Okay, so most all foots have this, and it's just a seam guide for stitching. Okay, so anyway, so that's what we're using. we're doing line work to quilt this quilt, but you could also just stitch in the ditch and then stitch diagonally. So that you could be simple, okay? Just be simple with some things, you guys. Stitch in the ditch, which is stitching along these seams, and then stitch diagonally. But you can do all of this on your domestic machine. You could have this quilt done so quickly, okay? You don't have to spend gobs of money having it long-armed. You can still get things long-armed, but you don't have to long-arm everything. I don't know, you know, if it, you know, for me, I like to make the quilt top, and then I like to quilt it because I want to be able to say, I made this quilt for you. I don't want to just say I pieced the top for you. So I really love to domestic machine quilt because I have really truly quilted this quilt. Does that make sense? Okay, Corey, can you find me 3 names of people that shared on Facebook? 3 names of people that shared on Facebook, and then you will win these little fabric bundles that I've set aside, and we've got cameras all around us, so I kind of hate to move. Corey will list out the 3 names. He will write them down. So stay online if you can. If you want the pattern, the instructions, and everything else for this quilt, write yes please in the comments, and
I can't tell if they've shared.
You can if they shared the video, they wrote shared in the comments. Okay, Corey's asking that. So that's cute. He's so sweet. I love it. So okay, so he's coming up with 3 names, and then I will, let me see if I've got the comments on YouTube. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel too. Okay, you guys, I hate to like lean across, but I kind of need to see these names. So just a second.
Now everybody's sharing.
Okay, yes. So yes, if they've shared, they can rewrite, share it again so we can see it, but we do go up and down. I don't think you can see our questions. I just have to move it over. I'm sorry, I didn't know I was getting very many comments on YouTube. I'm so proud of you guys. I will do this from now on. I didn't have people helping me with all the comments today. The stitch guide comes with the walking foot. Okay, Corey has the list of names. I'm going to bring it over. Okay, let's see here. Great view. Okay, I'm sorry I didn't see all the questions on YouTube. Okay, on Facebook, we have winners of Jean Nail, N-A-I-L. Jean Nail. If you have one, if you guys are, oh, Corey, give me a 4th name, okay? Ashley Olana.
Teresa Fuentes.
Okay, okay, he gave me a 4th name, Teresa Fuentes. Okay, so let me write that down. Doesn't matter whether you live in the United States or not. How do you spell Fuentes, Corey?
F-U-E-N-T-S.
Okay, N-T-S?
F-U-E.
Okay, great. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, so Jean Nail was the first person. The second person is Ashley Olana. You need to message me your address and your information. Okay, good. The Jonami quilt bar. This is called a quilt bar. Okay, I like it. Thank you, you guys. Robin Metcalf. Okay, Robin Metcalf has won some of the little fabric rolls. And Teresa Fuentes has won a little fabric roll. I do live videos Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And each night we've been making this quilt as we have gone throughout the week or the weeks. And I will put all the links to all of the other step outs of how to make the quilt. Let's see here. On Facebook, we have, on YouTube, we have some names. We have, oh gosh. Okay, hold on. We have, oh gosh, why? Band J Simon, okay, is YouTube. So Band J Simon, I need you to communicate to me your, let's see here, shadowing. Okay, Carolyn Schofield again, and Ann K. So Ann K, Carolyn Schofield, okay, and Band J. So we've got 7 winners, and I'll find someone from Instagram that made some comments. I'll go back and look at the live video. So this was for tonight. You guys, tomorrow, I don't know what we're doing. We might do the design board. I think I need to do a lesson real soon. If you want to, follow Stitch's Quilting so that you can get all of the live videos, and like the page and then follow it. On the follow button for Facebook, tap down and put follow. You want alerts for follow live videos, okay? Is what you can do. And then on YouTube, subscribe to the channel and then click the little bell button, and then that way you'll get an alert when I go live. So I do try to go live 5 days a week. We need to teach another class of how to layer your quilt. Let me think about that. Maybe I'll do a small quilt and show how to layer and baste it, and maybe we'll do one that is spray basted, one that is pinned, and one that is done another way, because what's really important is that you get your layering of your quilt really well, because pushing it through your machine is like no tomorrow. Okay, I mean it works extremely well. All right, you guys. So let me know what other questions you have. You can message me. You can do anything like that. But I love to help. I love to teach. And I think I've been on for a really long time tonight. So thank you for you guys that hung in there. Quilting a quilt on a domestic machine. I hope you guys can learn something each time that we do these lessons. And I hope those of you guys that are experienced, I hope that you guys are making comments to share with each other. Keep writing comments about how we can make ourselves feel loved and stay in a good, healthy place. Because I want to write a blog post about that, because that's what this quilt is all about, is you are loved. And if you are using your own fabrics, but you want to get the crossword square about that you are loved, or you are brilliant, you are intelligent, you are talented, you are whatever, and we're checking off the crossword, you can buy just the crossword square on my website, okay? So I have an online store, and Dee Dee, I am shipping you a crossword square all the way to Australia. That was your prize that you won yesterday. So I do ship all around the world, but and if you want the pattern, write yes, please, okay? And I'll send you all the links to everything on my website. Okay, I will put all the links on the YouTube channel, and we will see you guys later. Love you guys so much. And this quilt means so much to me because I have made it with all of you. And I will always, always, always treasure this. And you guys want the recipe for the protein bowl. I'm going to eat my protein bowl because I'm really hungry. I'm really wanting it. So love you guys. We'll see you guys a little bit later. I'll share the recipes with you, and I'll share so much else with you. And love you guys. And I'll see you guys on the other side of tomorrow. And we'll have another live video tomorrow. We'll see you later. Good night. Love you guys tons. Bye-bye.